Hey y'all, Jesse Petersen here with Let's Make Art. I like art journaling and I love teaching prompts and techniques that help us create fun things in our art journal. Today I have a fun project for you. We're going to be doing printmaking with a jelly plate, which is super fun. And we are going to use some items in nature to do it with. Today we're going to use this feather.
Wonderful.
Okay,
Did you find that in nature?
Well, no. I wanted something that I could use that was consistent for everybody to try to get a print, and then they can try to do other things they find in nature.
And I feel like a nature feather is just a little, maybe it's a little dirty. I don't know.
Well, you could clean it.
I don't know how to clean a feather.
Just some Lysol, you know?
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Don't take my word for it. I'm not sure
Nope,
what.
I trust you.
We have to look that up.
You're a professional.
Okay, so this is a project we're going to do. This is a print from a feather with a jelly print that I made, and the prompt is a nature walk prompt. So I'll just read this to you. It says, take a hike, go on a stroll around your neighborhood, get out and breathe in some fresh air. Not only is being outdoors good for your body, but nature also provides many rich patterns and beautiful textures to inspire you. Try collecting objects like leaves or feathers to further your study. You can take notes to capture their details in your journal. You can try sketching shapes and making rubbings of textures or monoprints in your journal. So just get out in nature and let it inspire you, right? Okay, so that is what we're doing. And of course, you're working in the theme of observing nature for these projects, a series of projects that we're doing.
Ooh, what if you did a 4-leaf clover?
Oh yeah, if you find it, which is lucky to find. It takes some effort.
Which is perfect though, because then you're spending time out in nature with a task.
Yes, I like it. I like it. Okay, so I just want to prep you for printmaking. We did this project previously, just one solid pass with the print. This one is going to be a 2-step process, and it can go a lot of different ways. And I don't want you to be hard on yourself. We're going to have fun. We're going to practice. Matter of fact, let's just take a minute to say, I'm an artist, okay? I'm an artist.
Yeah.
Are you an artist?
I'm an artist.
You're an artist. I think our desire to create is what makes us an artist. So I just want us to live in the moment. I want us to not think about like, well, after I practice and make all these cool things and I get better, then I'll be an artist. No, that's not how it works. We are going to throw out the idea of perfection. We're going to have fun playing in this new medium of printmaking, and we're going to just be in the moment, right?
Yeah, cool.
So, so I just want you to take this approach of exploring and experimenting and playing and just seeing what happens. And you're not going to ruin your journal. Just remember that. It's important to just view your journal as a place of practice and of playing and, I don't know, expressing and gathering ideas.
And you can't ruin something that you gained experience from. You can physically ruin it, but the experience you gain from creating.
Yeah, and you can always cover
Priceless.
up stuff in your journal. You can collage over it, you can jest over it, you can glue those pages together if you don't like them. So it's not going to be ruined. But just that, like, I love what Keenan said, just that experience is not wasted. And I've said this before and I've heard it somewhere else. The only wasted paint is the paint that's still in the jar.
I like that.
Okay, so we got our plate ready. You can be really diligent in cleaning this and making sure it has no color on it. I just like to get started and I like to move on. So mine has a little paint on there, that's all right. Okay, and same with your brayer. Mine's got paint on it, but it's dry and it's gonna roll and it's gonna be great. You can take the time to clean this between each use, or you can let it build up and then peel it off, which I find really satisfying.
I did not know you'd be able to do
just do what you like. I don't have rules about that. But it is nice to have some wipes handy to clean in between colors and things like that, and a little spray bottle, whatever you have around. We're also going to have use Yes Paste when we do our little label on there. And you may have gotten any assortment of paint. Sourcing for paint with everything that's been going on with the virus is pretty tough. So we got what we got and we're gonna have fun with it. And there's really no rules with what color you use. Just if you have this paint, great. If you have other paint that you wanna use that you have on hand, that's great. We're just gonna have a good time with the supplies we could gather.
Nice.
Okay, I'm going to use a palette knife to get the paint out onto the plate. I'll also use a palette knife for my Yes paste. I'm going to use a number 8 round brush for just doing a little painting there, and my precise pen for journaling. And those are our supplies. I think we're ready to get started.
We're ready.
All right. So I did this in this color blue here, but you could also mix this and this. So we'll try mixing this one for this one. Ooh. And one thing to keep in mind, these paints will dry out if you don't really shut them tightly, so I would advise that. I'm just going to mix my white paint. And you can gather leaves for this, maybe some long, tall grasses that have a cool texture.
Jesse.
Yes.
Do you want to push your palette to the left so we can see you mixing the color?
How about that?
That's great.
Okay. Just going to clean this off really quick. So it's easy to do. And then I'm going to get some of this blue, mix it up a little bit. Put that in there. All right. So you can get a lighter blue if you have that set, mixing the blue and the white together. I think I want it to be a little darker than that. Now, if you're using the bigger size paints, you can just squirt your paint directly onto the plate. But we're just going to use this to do what we're doing here. Okay. So you could use that paint color for your blue, or you could, if you have this other set, you could use this blue or this blue. Any of them will work. I'm going to use this blue. See if I have enough mix to get on here. And I'm just going to put this right on the plate. And it's not fully mixed, by the way, and I think that's going to be fine. It might be kind of a cool effect. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so I got my paint on there. And now I'm going to take my brayer and I'm going to smooth it out. And I want my roller to be moving, not just sticking in one spot. So it might take a couple of passes for us to get it to do that. There we go. Okay, so we got our blue on there. Now this is a 2-step process. We got that. And we're gonna put our feather down. I like to put this part facing down because it gives us a little more texture to play with. And because this feather's so big, I'm just gonna turn it at an angle like this. And I'm just gonna put it on there. Now, once you get it on there, you don't wanna move it around because then it will change the image. And just get that on there. And I might move this over just a little bit. I'll clean this in a second. This is a messy, fun way of working, so don't worry about the mess, okay. But you gotta work sort of quickly. So we got this down. I'm gonna put this right over that and I'm gonna massage my feather into the paint, moving it around, nice. Okay, so this is your first pull in printmaking. I like to say that when you take your paper up, that's like a pull, P-U-L-L, pull.
Pull.
So this is our first pull. So we're gonna get an image here. Now you could do this one with your journal page if you like too, but I'm just doing it on this paper. Okay, now, ready for the magic?
Yes.
That's our first pull, this image. Isn't that cool?
That is sweet.
Okay, our second image is you're gonna remove your item that you put on the plate and then you're gonna make a print with that. Oh, and look how cool that feather looks too. I mean, you can do printmaking on the actual feather, which is fun. Okay, so I kind of like how I placed this on there with that. So I'm gonna do something similar in my journal. I'm gonna, I don't know, I want the top to be kind of this far down and I'm gonna try to center it, but we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. And I'm gonna press this on there. And I'm pressing it pretty firmly because I really want that paint to stick to my paper. Now, the important part of this, especially if you're in a dry climate, is to work fast because that paint could dry and then it might not stick to your paper. But if that happens, I will tell you some tricks to do. I'll see how it works. Oh. Kind of got it a little sneak. Just make sure, get it on there. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, so we got like that in the middle of the feather, but maybe not all the details. So that's all right, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What you can do is wet it a little bit if you're finding that it's a little too dry to get the whole image, which I think that looks really cool. And this is still kind of on there. I want a cleaner plate. I like to do a ghost image to just see what else we can get off of there. So I'm gonna grab another scrap paper.
A ghost image?
Yeah, so it's like lighter
Cool.
than the first or second pull. See what happens. We might not get anything, or we might just get a really, really light image. Let's just see what we get. Now we got a lot when we pulled that middle part. And there's like a ghosty image. So if your paint is drying quickly, and it did for me because I'm trying to demonstrate this, then I'll show you another trick. We're just gonna keep playing. And if it didn't come out just exactly how you wanted, that's okay, because you can have multiple prints of your image in there, and you can do print 1, print 2, and just have a record of your printmaking in your journal. That's fine.
I like that.
There's no rules. Okay, so I just used that baby wipe to just get the good amount of that paint off. And you could do this with a wet paper towel too. I like the cheaper wipes because it leaves less of the fibrous stuff
Fibers,
behind.
yeah, from the
fibers,
actual
yeah.
wipe itself.
Okay, so let's try this again. I'm going to use my scrap paper. Scratchbook. I don't know what the heck.
I like scratchbook.
Well, it's not in a book, so it's not scratchbook.
But you could fold it in half, throw some thread in the back, make it a book,
Yeah.
and you're done with it.
Yeah, you could. Good idea. You could do like a whole little book
Yeah.
with that. So I just like to use paper like this to clean my brayer. And as you saw, I just put a little bit of water on there to try to get some of it off. You could do this a couple times, and you can get some cool texture for the back of your journal, whatever you want to do here. Okay. We're just gonna keep throwing these extras over here. Some more paper here. Let's see. I think we got most of it. Okay, so let's try our next print with this other blue. Just gonna do this a couple times and talk through it. Let's see.
You could do a whole theme.
Oh yeah.
Like a 2-page theme if you do a feather or a leaf or something.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, your nature theme is great.
It's a good theme to work in. All right. So let's get some more paint on there. And I used one of the feathers that I had over and over again, and it kind of got better as I did it because the feather got stiffer and I got more prints out of it. So you could practice this quite a bit before you go in your journal and just see how it goes. You could also just take your prints that you make on your scrap paper and put those in your journal if you're not comfortable like right away doing a print in your journal. A lot of options here.
Lots.
Okay, so that's feeling good. Let's get this rolled out. Oh yeah, see how my brayer is turning now better? It's gripping a little better.
Yeah.
You gotta have some time to warm up. I think that's a big part of it. You can roll it the other way. Oh,
He's fresh. He's like a day old.
yeah. Is it turning? I said that, and now I'm like, is it turning?
Oh dear.
All right. Okay.
Now he's just being lazy.
Okay, I think we got even paint, which is what we need. And we can even do a little, just a mist of water to keep that moist. wet, ready to print. Okay, so let's do our, throwing this paper around.
There's a lot of paper.
Yeah, so we'll do our first negative pull like this. Let's massage that feather on there. And you want to be careful not to move the feather around because that'll mess up your second image. But just want to get it so it's really sticky nicely. Okay, that looks good. Pull that.
Cool, look at that one.
Look at this, nice details in the bottom little fuzzy spots. Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, then you're going to remove this part you want to just be really careful. And I'm going to put just the slightest bit of water. I'm doing it way back here just to make sure it's going to be wet enough so we can do another pull in our journal. Was it 12 inches?
Sure.
I don't know. Okay. So let's just line that up. Press it down and let's see what we get.
Nice.
I wanted to start out with the feather that is included in your subscription box, so we all kind of started with the same thing so you could gauge your results, because sometimes if you're using something different, your results are going to be different, you know? So I'm just really pushing on that, making sure. And you could even use your brayer if you wanted to, like to...
Oh, nice.
To get that even pressure. Okay, now we're going to lift it up, see what happens. Moment of truth. Oh my gosh, I love it. Yes.
Nice.
And you could even do these side by side if you wanted to. In your book, you could trim this out and put that in there. It could be really cool.
That would be cool.
Okay, so I'm going to add a little paint to the bottom here. Using this blue paint here.
Do you want to slide that to the left?
Yes, I would love to do that.
Thank you.
So I'm going to wet my paintbrush just a little bit because I want this acrylic paint to kind of look more like watercolor. And I'm just going to do a little shape here. At the bottom so we can put our little feather print number on there. And I just kind of chose an organic kind of shape. I didn't try to like get it super square or anything. And I like the idea of that because my feather's not perfect. But you can do it however you like. Okay. Just, you know, I gotta fiddle with it sometimes. I can't resist.
Gotta get those special details.
Yeah, kind of. I think it looks a little nice if you just do a little darker in the corner there. I don't know. Okay, we'll let that dry for a second and then we'll do our next step. Okay, so this is looking and feeling dry. So we're ready for the next step, which is just putting on this little cute label. And I cut it from this tag. Now, if you want to save this tag for something else, you can do whatever you want, but I just kind of like the texture of this. I'm going to trim this out with scissors and then I'm going to rip it.
You ever had a down pillow or a down blanket?
Yes.
What if you took the tag off your down pillow or down blanket and did a feather print and saved the label as a memory?
I like it. Aren't those feathers really tiny? That would be kind of fun to try.
Yeah, I think you'd have to use this feather, but then it'd just be like a really random page in your journal. I might make a random journal.
Okay, Keenan, is this making you think about naps, this feather? Is that what's happening right now?
I've got a Reese's Fast Break, a Dr. Pepper, and some jalapeno wavies, and now I'm a little sleepy.
Okay, I'm just gonna tear this to get
Paint
that.
drying equals snack time.
He snacks while I work. This is how this really is going down.
This is quite possibly the best job I've ever had.
Too bad you don't get paid.
I know.
You guys, that's a joke.
That's why I eat fast breaks.
Okay, I'm just tearing this. I could have torn it before, but then I didn't, so. I like, that's a good size. I'm liking the size. I just find tearing things a little satisfying.
I think that's a good size.
Have we
Now
talked
I'm gonna
about
tear it
how
more.
much I love that video where they tear paper and the baby laughs?
Yes.
I love it so much.
I love baby laughs.
I just wish that my children would have thought that was funny. I was ripping paper all day long trying to get them to laugh, and they just stared at me like, yeah, so what?
They're like, are you okay?
I'm like, look at this. I'm ripping paper. Isn't it hilarious? Not so much.
Man, that would be a great compilation video. Parents trying to amuse their children and the children not being amused.
Yeah, well, if you need some footage, come to my house. Because they think their dad is hilarious, and I'm just like, huh, okay, cool, Mom, whatever. It's fine. I'm mad about it. Okay, so just gonna grab some Yes paste. And my Yes paste in here is just a little bit stickier, a little bit more dry than normal. And if that happens, you can just put a little drop of water in there, put the cap back on, and it will soften up for you. No big deal. I'm just gonna grab a piece of paper that I can put this on so I don't get the background sticky. Now, if you're trying to spread this out and it's hard to spread out, you can actually just get your palette knife a little bit wet, and that will help too. And also, the Yes paste in the box is just to give you an easy solution to just have ready to glue. But if you prefer using something else, like, or you have a glue stick on hand or you like that better, do what works for you. Okay, just gonna put this in there. I like Yes paste because I can still have time to move it around if I don't get it in the right spot, just how I want it. Okay,
Nice.
so this is my feather print number 2 that I did, so I'm gonna write that on there.
The collage paper cut out that size makes me think of a tortilla.
Oh, it does kind of look like a tortilla.
Little tortilla boy.
And printmaking, often they will do print numbers or whatnot. So you can do that. If you like, I use the lighter part of that tag, but if you're using a darker part of that tag, you could also add a little white paint in the background like I did here. And I just want to take a moment to notice all the different feathers that we made today and how they turned out. So this one was our example. We got a lot of texture in the background, a lot of cool things happening there. This one, I didn't get as much of the paint to stick here. It might have been a little more dry, but this is still really interesting, really fun texture. And then today we did this one where just the middle stuck, but that's kind of neat in its own way.
Yeah,
and
I
you
like
really
that.
got that detail in there. That was really cool. And this one. And then let's not forget our negative ones that we did. Negative meaning like the middle space is what we see. This is from the first pull. And I'm just loving these textures in here.
Yeah, that second negative is awesome.
Yeah, and I think it's because the paint really kind of got into the, where's my feather? Just really got into there and stiffened it up and made it a better print. So I just want to stress to you that the more that you do this, the more, what am I trying to say? The more it'll be easier to get your feather to do the things because it will kind of stiffen up and be easier to get a
It's a
print.
little more rigid.
Yeah, and the more you use your brayer and your gel print, the more these things will evolve. So if you don't get a feather print exactly like you wanted the first try, don't worry. We're having fun here, you know? That was how we started out. Yeah. And just keep exploring, keep playing. You can try it with different things that you collect in nature. When you go on a nature walk, you can try different colors. Make sure you close your paint pot so they don't dry out. Just thought about that. I'm like, oh, I need to close that so I can use it again next time. And please share what you make. We love seeing what you make. We're inspired by each other in the community. If you want to check out our Facebook group, we have a Facebook group called Let's Make Art Journals that you can join there and see what other people are making. You can also use the hashtag Let's Make Art Journals on our Instagram, and we are having a good time seeing all those things. Thank you so much for printmaking with me today in your journal. I hope you have a great time, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.